Small business is about courage, risk-taking, independence, and we small business owners are survivors. Everybody has an idea for a business, but how do you take that idea from mind to market? This is the place to learn.
Small Business School with Hattie Bryant.
It's a new kind of school. Together we'll learn about business from the inside out, from the people who've done it. We'll meet the men and women who are today's pioneers and quiet heroes. Their lives are the textbooks. Our classroom is the world.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
Hi, I'm Hattie Bryant. One of the great mysteries of life is the human mind. What can we know, and when do we really know it? Today we visit with people who are providing answers that will change our perception of information, knowledge, insight, and yes, even wisdom. First, we go to Westerham, England, where a very small business is saving very large businesses millions of dollars because they have keys to vaults of information that, when processed through their hands, becomes knowledge and leads the person with questions to exacting new insights. In Westerham, England, about 20 miles southeast of London, we found the simple offices of an international award-winning software company, Transition Associates. Founded by Miles Corbett and David Bowden, the company makes knowledge out of raw data. They serve some of the biggest companies in the world with a team of 16 who work from offices scattered around the country.
Knowledge management is a very broad subject to me. It covers a vast number of things.
One of Transition Associates' largest customers is Baker Hughes. All over the world, its engineers drill into the plate tectonics of the Earth. The insight and wisdom gained at every location now becomes part of an organic knowledge database built by Transition Associates.
This was a really interesting process. David and I knew a lot about their business. We knew a lot about helping people to drill oil wells and what went into that. But they had a new vision. They realized that they knew more about drilling for oil and gas than companies like Amoco, Exxon, BP, Shell. But they didn't know how they could convince them to do so. And they were just in the middle of spending $7 million on an expert system to select drill bits, and they wanted to work out how could they improve that process because it wasn't going too well at that stage.
Right.
So two of them wrote a book, 350 pages of close typed A4 text, one illustration, 350 pages. And this was a book on how to drill the best oil wells.
If you read it, if you could stick through and read it and actually absorb it, it was brilliant stuff, okay, and the beginning of something very good. But it was unusable.
We took that and translated that into some tools which fragment it down into digestible sizes of objects.
A lot of what we do is taking people's messages and communicating them and helping to apply them with effect within an organization. And that's a knowledge management story, that's a bespoke course delivery story, to some degree that's an application development story as well.
We took their experience, right? We translated it into retained knowledge, and then we built a tool which distributed the ideas.
There's a whole lot of new thinking, a whole lot of tools, and sort of smaller pieces of expertise and skills that you need to pull together, and risks to be aware of, all of those things that will get you delivering online learning successfully. So we see ourselves now as providing to companies that enablement that lets them get to that point where they can successfully deliver e-learning courses.
It starts with being able to query the best practices, right? Then it moves into sharing the lessons which you're learning locally. And then they have a knowledge practice group that look at all of those lessons, refine them, translate them back into best practice, and also reflect them through again into the educational material. It's called a continuous improvement cycle.
How far did you get with that interactive flash XML?
In a small business, people and the way they behave, the way they think, and what they deliver are utterly critical to your business. You've got to have the right person in the right job. And if you've made the wrong decision, act quickly. But we tried to bring this guy into an executive role, leading the sales of the business. Within 3 weeks, it was obvious to us we made a mistake. So, we gave the guy a check. We explained why we felt we were wrong, explained that we didn't think it was going to go anywhere, and we moved on. Because otherwise, you get distracted. The business goes off course. You spend all of your life managing the problem rather than managing the opportunity.
In some ways, in the old days when there were just a few of us, it was a very simple model. With a group approach now, we obviously have to have some sort of structured and process way of guaranteeing quality and timeliness, and that the message is the same all across the board. Everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet.
Even though we're geographically dispersed, we work together as a team. So many of the projects we do are multidisciplinary projects. So we've got an application developer, we've got a system architect, we've got a project manager, and roles tend to flip-flop and become multidisciplinary and to suit the particular needs of the client. Then we have a discipline of getting together. So roughly every 3 months we get together, and it's great fun. We laugh for the whole day, we learn together, we have some competitions, we throw out crazy prizes, and we build the teamwork.
We use the internet to communicate. That's a big thing for us. I mean, the thing we use every day is just the chat. And we found that it has really changed our business. It has really made a substantial difference. What we found is that for people who are working from a home office, there's a real isolation problem, and there's a real stay in touch and feel where the business is at issue. And internet, just using the chat where you come in the morning, you turn on your PC, you get into your office, up comes your chat. And on the list of who's in, who's online, doop, up comes somebody. As soon as they come in, I can say, "Hi, Jeff, how you doing? Hi, David, pretty good. What kind of a day did you have yesterday? What did you do last night?" And some just chat.
In the 6 years we've been going, not one person has left the organisation, right? We have immense stability, people have grown, and we have a family culture in the business. It works very well for us because the word that will keep recurring in the things that I talk about is trust. So we have very high levels of trust internally, we have very high levels of trust externally.
You have to be able to vision what could be, and from the basis of your experience and your skill, believe that you could get from A to B. And this manifests in different ways. So for me, if I see a problem, I think there has to be a solution around here. There has to be a solution.
So, David, this makes sense to you?
It does. It does, just enough.
It looks like Greek to me. So you printed out the code.
This is code printed out from our test server, and this is code that I've printed out from our an installation that's going in on a customer server.
Okay.
And something's not quite right on the customer server. Now, it may be that we've got a discrepancy in code, but it may be that we've got a discrepancy in the way the server's set up. So I've printed out the two sets of code, and I'm just running through and comparing them. And I have found a small discrepancy here. So it's a simple thing. We have a slash going back
It's a
and
forward
a slash going forward.
That's the only thing different on the two
That's
pages.
the only thing different, yeah.
So now you get to go to lunch, right?
Yeah. There you go. One problem found.
Back in 1995, I worked for a company in the UK called QA Training. I was the director of education there, and it's a large technical training organisation. And just at that time, there was the first glimmer of what was going to happen with the internet. And I thought to myself, I don't want to work for a big corporation. I want to get out there on my own again, because I used to run my own business, and I thought, I can see something here. This is going to be big in education.
So when you started, where did the money come from?
My own pocket. We started, it was the HP story, we started in the back room of the house. Then we grew, David came and joined me. We moved from one room to another room to 2 rooms, built an office, moved out of there, moved into a school, you know.
Why have a partner? Why David?
Maybe I'm the person who creates some vision and direction and gets out there and evangelizes our message. And David's the guy who really runs the business. He's the guy who really sits behind the wheel and says, this is how we can achieve it. No, we can't do that. But it's a balance.
Do you ever fight?
Never. Not true.
How do you get to
We have vigorous debates.
How do you get to a resolution?
It's very easy. David's always right.
The future for us, I mean, our immediate future is in enablement, enabling customers to do what they need to do.
You have to have a balance between utter realism to face the hard decisions, but at the same time, complete unwavering faith that whatever you're doing, you can adapt to whatever the market circumstances are and keep going.
Times of change are unnerving and a little scary. So we have to be nimble, we have to watch what's going on and go with where our customers' needs are and understand those things.
And that's what keeps you going. Right. Because yes, there are hard times. But when you hit those hard times, if you don't believe you can come through them, you may as well pack up and go home.
Remember, we started with the question, what can we know? I think the answer today is just about anything. The real question is, what do you want to know and why? Transition Associates is a business totally based on intellectual property, the stuff of the mind. These people envision how information coheres and then put it all together in software programs. It is now an industry known as knowledge management. They get into the learning space of the mind and write these specialized software programs so people can dig through libraries of proprietary information and databases in seconds. Unlike Google, these inference machines are pointing to just 1 or 2 pieces of information necessary to make a critical decision. Their customers are saving millions of dollars every year as a result. The information is secure, but available to the right people from literally anywhere on the planet with today's PDAs and laptops with pervasive communications. One of the last barriers between people seems to be language, and that is increasingly a non-issue because technology has progressed to give us real-time translations of documents and speech from one language to another. Let's go north of London to see how one small business is empowering their customers to reach across language barriers and how they are developing technologies to handle mundane jobs.
Hi, I'm your virtual receptionist. Please use the boxes below to let my colleagues know you're here. They have been notified and are on their way. Would you like to see our show reel while you wait?
KMP Internet is the Manchester, England-based e-architecture firm specializing in e-business, e-marketing, and portal development. Soon, Lingua bots, like the virtual receptionist they developed, combined with their online language translation, will enable all web users to learn anything with no language barriers.
Hi, you must be Hattie.
Founder Bill Daring is the chairman.
So you got the message?
We actually create the technology that allows you to push the button and translate. Okay, so it does it at a very fast speed. I think we're talking about 500 words a minute that we are able to translate.
What is software?
Software is the means of it's a language essentially that allows the computer to do to carry out some functions. And we program software, we create software to make business easier, or to deliver a message, or to get some advantage out of the computer.
John Keefe, like Bill, is a founding partner.
I guess I make the company work on a day-to-day basis. Make sure that everyone understands exactly what they need to do, why they do it, when they need to do it for. It's kind of like a doctor's surgery. People are in and out every day. These guys all in here and the guys over in the sales office. It's a musketeer thing. It's all for one and one for all, and you have to create that kind of mentality.
Nick Smith is the newest partner.
I'm the technical director. That's the official title. What that actually means is that I tend to get involved at the beginning of projects to work with clients to ascertain what they're going to do within a project technically.
So tell me what goes on in this room.
This is the studio. The studio comprises of 3 distinct teams really. The creative team, which is basically the people who come up with the ideas for the visuals and the look and feel of applications we put together. Then there's the multimedia team, who take those visuals and make them into working animations and HTML layouts. And then there is the technical team, and what they do is really put the code behind the screens to actually make the application work. So they put the cogs behind it.
Nick, can you give me a hand with the Smart City events?
Yeah, sure.
What's up?
Well, everyone it's a completely team effort, basically. The person who controls the actual work through the studio, we have several projects going on at the same time, so Rodri looks after the workflow of the studio and decides who should work on what.
I'm the production manager in the studio, so my main job is to make sure that everything gets done in time and to schedule.
Now, you've worked in other firms like this.
Yeah.
How is this one different?
I think it's the whole creative approach and fun atmosphere in KMP which really makes the difference. Here, there's no walls, there's no kind of barriers between me and Bill and John and Nick. We just muck in and get the job done.
People buy people first, and we employ people here. We employ people because they're unusual, they're different. They think outside the box. They're different types of people. One guy came to an interview in a check suit, a totally tartan check suit. And this guy was unusual, but he was actually capable of being able to deliver as well.
Where's this guy now?
Well, that's actually Nick. He's our technical director.
I actually turned up in a tartan suit. And he actually said to me, he says, he's either good or he's mad. And he made the decision that I was good.
I employed a copywriter because his last job on his CV, he was a human cannonball for a circus. So these are, you look for unusual people, as long as they've got a skill base.
Why is that? Just go back there. Why is that darker there? We see customers changing their websites perhaps every year, 18 months. So we have to be always looking for what's new and exciting.
Hi, I'm Bob the Bot for online business. What's your name?
Bob is a LinguaBot invented by KMP.
Hi, Abby. May I ask for your email address in case I have difficulty answering your questions?
It's great for us to spend time being on the edge, but if you're always ahead of the market, you never actually sell anything. So you've got to be in that market as well as being ahead of it to understand how it's going.
So one of the issues that you and Bill have to deal with is cash flow.
No, you've got to be real. We have to pay ourselves and pay everybody else, and we have to capitalize the business. But these jewels that we have out there are, sometimes we use them as kind of introductions to ourselves and jaw droppers. We just want to show you this, and people have never seen it before. It's like the first time you saw the best piece of animation at the cinema or something like that, and these people think, wow, okay, that's where it could be. Well, actually, I just want to talk to you about, let's understand this application. So, you've captured their imagination at that point. You've delivered them something that is beyond their scope of what they'd even imagined, and put it in front of them, and then drawn them back into saying, the reality is that anything's possible. Given time and money, anything is possible. The hardest thing is to rein guys back in, to rein development back in. Because if you have to have some structure, and there has to be a framework that we work in, and we work very hard so that everybody, it's a very open company. Another key point for a motivational aspect of an organisation like this is that we make sure that everybody understands where the company's up to. Hey guys, we made this much profit last month.
So it's open book management.
Completely open book management. we didn't make this much profit last month. This is because X, Y, and Z. We hold regular company meetings where everybody's word is listened to, is taken on board, and a lot of actions are taken out of a forum like that.
The other banners that will come up there, so they're rotating up. So what we want is computers to be more friendly, and now you can make your screen look like anything, and you can make it work intuitively. And now we're looking at how that will move even further forward. For example, natural language querying and machine translation. We went to China a couple of years ago and found that they really do need access to Western sites. They're very hungry for knowledge. They want to do business with the West, but one of the barriers is language. We looked at using machine translation modules to create websites that would translate into Chinese to start off with at the touch of a button, and we've created a model which we can do that. One of our goals is to actually ensure that companies see the advantage of this and then incorporate that technology into their sites. Now, initially, our target has been governments, because governments want to promote exports to various parts of the world, and they want to do it with small and medium-sized enterprises who can't afford that kind of technology. So hopefully we're looking to government bodies to build translation sites that can be used in everybody's website. You can actually get a button to put on your own website using this as a server to create the language change.
Do you think every business today is a global business?
Yeah, I think it is. Business generally is e-enabling itself. It's putting processes in that that cut the cost and give better benefit to their customers. So as small businessmen then, we've got to recognise this is going on.
The three partners were proud to take me to the Manchester airport because the work they did for this big customer won KMP international recognition. So why do you think your advertising background has been an advantage for KMP?
Well, I think for the first time, the internet made two departments in organizations really have to understand that they've got to talk to each other on a regular basis, and that's the marketing and marketing communications department and the IT department. We are translators between them because the two departments in our clients don't understand each other. But you uncover this pain that they've got by translating between the two departments and making them understand how by working together they can be much more valuable to each other.
It seems to me most internet companies today are run by technology people.
Absolutely. You open a door and you chuck a piece of meat down a black hole and some software comes out again. That doesn't have an interface around it. It doesn't have a front end look and feel. And that is a real issue today. Positive business impact, that's what it's about. We have to add positive business impact through integrating marketing and technology. The best fun bit about it is actually making it happen under any circumstances, and you have to take circumstances into account that you can't even begin to imagine in the first place. And you just, every time a wave crashes on the beach, you just got to get up again and get on with it.
In 2002, Transition Associates and KMP Internet won the coveted Beacon Award. Transition Associates for Best E-Learning Solution and KMP Internet for Best E-Business Solution.
Beacon Award winners deliver total customer solutions.
There was a time when the sun never set on British soil. Now you can be sure the sun never sets on British software.
And it's quite a thing for us that we're really, I suppose, are giant killers in terms of the way that we win these awards.
We're so small, and we were up against such large companies that we knew we were up for it, but we weren't really expecting to win. So it was fantastic when Barry came back from Orlando with that award. Just brilliant, a real boost for everyone in the studio.
And it doesn't take a big team to have a big impact. It just takes a small, bright team.
We punch above our weight. People say that all the time to us. And that's the important thing, that's the enjoyment about it.
I particularly don't like to be licked by a problem. I like to see that problem dead, but that can mean sticking at it.
I knew we could do it, and that actually validates what I believed in, was that we can compete with large companies and win.
Every day we are challenged to know who we are, what we are to do with our days, and who we want to become when we finally grow up. It may sound like a challenge for someone in junior high school, but because of today's technology and communications tools, it is a question that we will all address throughout our lives. Transition Associates and KMP Internet are on the leading, bleeding edge of knowledge management, and as a result of their work, the world is becoming a more knowing place, yes, even a better place, and we are all challenged to be better people. We'll see you next week.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
If you want to learn more about starting, running, and growing a business, come to our website, smallbusinessschool.org. There's streaming video and interactive study guides. The only way we can compete with big business is to be faster, smarter, and better. We are the engine of the American economy. We create the jobs. Small business is about big commitment. It's about sacrifice and struggle. But we do it because we say, if I don't do this, my life won't be complete.